الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله. الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله على ما أنعمت وأوليت يا رب العالمين. اللهم كما أنعمت فأدم وزدنا من نعمك واجعلنا من الشاكرين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق المبين، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله رحمة للعالمين وهدى وبشرى للمحسنين. فصل اللهم عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه واتبع سنته واقتفى أثره بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فيقول ربنا سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز: وقل اعملوا فسيرى الله عملكم ورسوله والمؤمنون ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. Allah the Almighty said in Surah At-Tawbah and work. Allah will see your work, His Messenger and the believers. And then you will be returned to the knower of the unseen and the seen. And then you will be told about what you used to do in this dunya. There are plenty of verses in the Qur'an talking about amal, work, action. If you were to read these verses, it's always directing the believers and humanity to be active. And for this very purpose, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the messengers and the messages to direct this action towards the perfect guidance. And this is why we have the revelation. We are lifeless without action. And throughout the Qur'an, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always encouraging the believers towards the good deeds. Amal al-salih. Inna alladhina amanu wa amilu al-salihat. It's not only work. What is the quality of the work? What is the quality of the action? If the quality of the action was right, then the fruits will be sweet. If the quality of the action was wrong, then the fruits will be bitter. In many occasions, the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the most beloved deed to Allah. أحب الأعمال إلى الله. Different occasions. If you were to search the Sunnah under this sentence, أحب الأعمال إلى الله, the most beloved deeds to Allah, you will definitely find different results. Because sometimes what suits this person doesn't suit the other person, and so on and so forth. So the Prophet, out of his wisdom, alayhi salatu wassalam, he will diversify his answer in accordance to the question and the questioner. So on some occasions he will say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَدْوَمُهَا. The most beloved deeds to Allah is the one which you can keep. وَإِنْ قَلْ, even if it was little. I.e. consistency in the deed. To establish something small and to keep it. Better than having something huge and neglect later. And in another occasion, he was asked sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about the same thing. And he said, the most beloved deed is the one which has been done with sincerity. Allah will not accept any of your deeds if it wasn't done with ikhlas. So the deed with ikhlas is the most beloved deed to Allah and the acceptable one. So we see then it's not only the action. So we have different layers in this ayah, and different directions, and different recommendations, and guidance as well. So yes, the command came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to work. But how? So, to put aside laziness, we are ummah of action. We are not ummah of laziness. So our ummah is an active ummah. And amongst the very beautiful verses, which is very dear to my heart, when Allah says subhanahu wa ta'ala, الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, those who are spending their money during the night and during the day. Underline this. I've reflected on this ayah for so long, and every time it just comes back with the same direction, that the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ummah of the Qur'an, is a lively ummah, is an active ummah. During the night, they are spending their wealth for the right cause. Look at us. Sometimes we are even during the day, we are not that active. But this is not the description of the ummah of the Qur'an. The ummah of the Qur'an, they are so alive during the night and during the day, which consists there 24/7. So yes, the action is required, but which type of action we have to do? The action which leads to the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are concerned about the quality. Yes, but we need to first establish the action to break the laziness which we have. So to break the laziness, then we have to establish the action. How to take this action, in which direction? The Qur'an, the revelation directs us towards al-amal al-salih, the righteous deeds. And there are plenty of scholars composed different books, starting from the very beginning, probably the first of its kind, Al-Imam Ibn Sunni, in his very famous book, Amalul Yawmi wal Layla, the actions of the day and the night. What to do. It's a collection of books of azkar. How to start your day, during the day, what to do and what to say, and so on and so forth. And from there, plenty of other books established. Probably the most famous one to all of us is Al-Azkar by Al-Imam Al-Nawawi, based on Ibn Sunni's work, by the way. Al-Imam Al-Bayhaqi, Al-Imam Al-Nasa'i, you name it. All of them has written on Amalul Yawmi wal Layla, the action of the day and the night. So yes, we are concerned about our actions. And our accounts in the Akhirah are based on our actions. And definitely these actions has no value, no matter how big it might be. As in some narrations it says, some people will come on the day of judgment بِأَعْمَالٍ كَجَبَلِ تِهَامٍ, with actions like the mountain of Tihama, huge, but it will be like dust. Why? It's because of the intention. So don't be overwhelmed by the action itself if it wasn't done with the right intention. And this is why the very first hadith, Imam al-Nawawi and Imam al-Bukhari and many others started their books with, is the hadith of the intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. So actions are but by intentions. So yes, Allah has commanded us to do the action, but this action has to be with the right intention, with ikhlas, and it has to be the third component, it has to be in accordance to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So any action, in order to be accepted, it has to go through 3 levels. Level number 1, it has to be with the right intention. Level number 2, it has to be done with the right knowledge. You might have the right intention, but you don't know how to do it. You have the right intention to pray, but you don't know how to pray, for instance. And you prayed the way you thought that this is a prayer. It doesn't work. You need to learn how to do it. The third, it has to be in accordance with the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Not an act of innovation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding the believers to be active. Is commanding humanity to be active, not to be lazy. And out of His wisdom, He, with His justice subhanahu wa ta'ala, distributed different talents and different favors upon His creation. So it's not true that some nations are more intelligent than other nations. It's not true. Probably some of us might say, yes, but what about the comparison between this country and that country, East and West and this and that? It's not like that. The proof that there are plenty of intelligent people across the world, but they need the right place and the right incubator to improve their intellect, to sharpen their skills, and then they can produce something special. It's not an exclusive thing that the West are very intelligent or the East is very lazy or very, let's say, idiot or stupid. This is completely wrong, because plenty of the students in this country, in the West, are coming from abroad. But because they didn't have the right environment. It's not because the East is stupid and the West is intelligent. It isn't. So we need to facilitate the right environment in order to improve the action, in order to make it better. And this cannot happen without changing the way we teach. Even in this country, we are still following the 60s curriculum, preparing the students for labor force, preparing for the manufacturing mentality, which is not anymore in this country. So the system needs to change. In order to change the actions of the people, you need to change the system. You need to change the culture. You need to change the knowledge which they are receiving. So look at some countries like Malaysia, like Indonesia. In the 60s, they were just below zero. Because they have changed the course of the education, the curriculums, the mentality, the culture. Then you can see now they are competing with the giants. Not because they are more intelligent than us, of course. Because they have provided their citizens with the right culture, with the right curriculums, with the right people. For instance, the civil servants. In this country, in other countries, more likely, not the top achievers. Somebody who's not finding a job, he will go to the civil service. In Malaysia and Indonesia, it's not the case. Top people will be in the civil service. The A+, A star, and so on will be there. Then those are serving the country. So imagine if this culture is in a country, then the outcome will be different. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His wisdom, connected the result of our actions with the action which we do. So the quality of our actions will produce the result of the action. If it was good, then good. As the example of the land. If you were to prepare it well, look after it well, then you have good fruits. If you were to neglect it, then you have nothing. So you can't blame the land. It's not producing anything. You are planting the wrong plants. You are not looking after it well. You are not putting compost. You are not nurturing it, and so on and so forth. So as such, our children, as such, our communities, as such, our country, we need to change the culture. If we want the outcome to be different, then we need to change what we put. Then we expect different results. Einstein once said, the definition of madness is to repeat the same thing in the same environment and you expect a different result. This is madness. And here we go. We are doing this in this very 21st century. Doing the very same thing in the very same environment and expecting a different result. It won't happen. Unless we change the culture which we have, unless we change the way of thinking, unless we change our curriculums and make it better, we cannot expect a different result. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to nurture our hearts, to nurture our communities, our children, our country, to make it better. Ameen. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala nabi al-Mustafa wa alihi wa sahbihi wa bi'ahdihi wa fa. It's been narrated in Musnad Imam al-Bazzar that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Hayati khayrun lakum wa mamati khayrun lakum wa inna a'malakum tu'radu alayk fama wajadtu min khayrin hamidtu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa ma wajadtu min sharrin istaghfartu lakum. So he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as it's been narrated in Musnad Imam al-Bazzar, in a good narration, he said, my life is good for you, and my death is good for you, and your deeds will be presented to me, i.e. in His grace, alayhi salatu. So whatever goodness I have seen from your deeds, I will praise Allah for that. And whatever evil I have seen from your deeds, I will ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make our deeds good deeds. Let's ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stick to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to motivate our children, ourselves to be better in our culture, in our knowledge, in our application, and make inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala our families better, our way of implementation of the Qur'an and the Sunnah better, and this inshallah might change and definitely will change the course of our life and the course of our society. And اللهم يا رب يا رحمن يا بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام اللهم نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته. اللهم فرج الكرب عن المكروبين ونفس الهم عن المهمومين. اللهم ارزقنا حلالا طيبا واستعملنا صالحا. اللهم خذ بأيدينا لما فيه رضاك. صلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.